Hello, I'm Chris, this is Gross Models. Welcome to a quick updates and modifications video for the Terminator Build the T800. Now, as you are aware, I'm sure, the base is alright. It's not great, it's not rubbish, but it can do with some improvements. More improvements than the rest of the Terminator, really. Now, initially, we got the skull piece here, which obviously this is where it's mounted on, don't worry about that. And I thought, that's quite cool. It's like a blackened ash type finish. It's not what I would have necessarily gone for, but it's okay. So I was quite happy with that to come in, and then the jaw section came in, which doesn't actually go with it, although it obviously goes with it, but that goes elsewhere on the base. But then we got the vertebra section, which I thought, that's okay. It's the same sort of thing, a bit heavy on the dry brushing on there, but it's okay. But the problem is it doesn't fit in like that. That's not the way it fits onto the base. It fits on the base that way round, and basically these pins here are what insert into the base. So this is upwards, and you can see all of this right next to one of the lights, and the other side is like it just strikingly different and, to my mind, wrong. So that made me decide to go ahead and repaint the bone fragments. The metallic fragments on the base are lovely. They're great. They're exceptional. I'm very, very happy with those. The base, not so good with the rocks and stuff, but that's going to be a different video once I've figured out how the base is actually going to be bolted together, because it's still not quite secure. I think the bottom layer is going to be better, but I'll revisit that shortly. But for now, as far as I'm aware, these are the only 3 bone fragments on the base. So I'm going to be doing something with these. Now, these I'm going to be repainting completely. I'm going to be starting with some, it's all going to be the Mecha series of Vallejo paints. I've got the Ivory Primer. Now, obviously, it's a fairly pale white ivory sort of colour. So this is a primer. This is just going to go straight on top of all of these, cover them completely, and they'll look just like that. Next up, I have a combination of these 2 other Mecha colours. I've got white grey and off-white, which are, individually, you'd look at any of them and say, that's white paint, that's white paint. It's basically white paint. They're a little bit whiter and a little bit different. They're just going to add a little bit of variation and texture to, especially the skull, where it's obviously a large area. It wouldn't all just be the same colour. It's just going to add a little bit of depth and shading to it. And finally, I'm going to end with some depth and shading with a black wash. Now this is like Games Workshop's Null Oil. It's just a thin black paint that will seep into recesses and things, and again add the final layer of depth and shading. Now the unfortunate thing is these are basically going to be airbrushed on, and I can't film that, but what I can do is show you the stages as and when they happen. So at the moment, out of the box, as per delivery, this is what you get. I shall come back in a moment once I've done the primer, and then once I've done I'll probably do both of those at once, and then show you it after at the end with the black wash, and we'll see how it looks. I may need to do some more tweaking and sorting out and brushwork, but that's the plan at the moment. So first of all, this is how it looks out of the box. The skull, it's not quite great, but it's all right. But that, yeah, inexcusable that they just painted it from one side and given up on it, and yeah. So that's how they look at the moment. So I shall see you momentarily when I put down the primer level. And there we have it. That's just the primer coat. Now, I did go against what I said, because plans are always changing and evolving. I didn't cover them absolutely completely, because I do still like some of the subtle shading that you get with the darker undercoat, as it were. So yeah, I wasn't too worried about filling in all of the, making it all bright bone coloured, but it's got a nice texture to it that looks almost like bone as it is out the spray can. And say some texturing and yeah, subtle shading basically still going on there. So next up, I'm going to be doing a couple of different coats with the other sort of bone colours. So I'll get those both done and then show you what it looks like on the intermediate stage. But as I say, you can see that now, and you'll be able to see it again in a moment. Okay, this time there's probably not very much to see, if you can even make out anything. I've used the grey, the light white grey, to darken some of the areas, and the other one, the off-white, to highlight some of the areas like the brow ridges and the top surfaces, as it were. So hopefully there's a little bit of variation there that you can see. I can certainly see it in the flesh. So yeah, I'm happy with how that's coming along. Same with the jaw, exactly the same really. I did use mainly the off-white on the teeth, just to try and get them a little bit separate from the skull bone itself. And again, the same with that, just highlights and lowlights and shades and things, just to bring it up a little bit different, a little bit of variety in it. So next up is the big one, the black wash. This is going to change it quite dramatically, I think, and hopefully for the better. But we'll find out. If it doesn't ruin it, we can always go back and start again. So I'll get that on and we'll see how it looks. Right, here you have the most dramatic change yet, well, apart from going from black to white. We've gone back to dark. It's not quite what I had in mind. It's a little bit too dark, a little bit too washy. So what I'm going to be doing is going back over again with some of the earlier colours, leaving some of the darker shading, and just sort of bringing back some of the bone colour, because although it does something, it looks good, it looks like a skull, I want it a little bit more skull-like, perhaps a little bit less left out, although it's been left out. It's a tricky sort of line to walk. I'm going to bring back some highlights, basically, so hopefully that will bring it back to more how I imagined it being. It might do it, it might not. I might have to come back to this again. I don't know. I'm playing around and tweaking and twisting and making something happen. So I shall see you soon for whatever happens next. And yeah, keep an eye on this place. And after hitting them again with the base, what was it? The ivory primer, I just brought back some of the basic original colour, which I'm happy with now. That'll do. It's going to get some more, a little weathering while it's built into the base, but that now looks better than the original. I'll grab a still of the original and put it up there or here, so you can compare the two. That's what that was, and that's what it is now. So hopefully you agree that that's better than the stock one. It's not difficult to do. It's a personal choice as to the. I've got wore one glove, but should have worn two. It's a personal choice as to how it ends up looking. If you want it to look like it did, then if you're happy with that, absolutely fine. If you want it to look like this, you're happy with that, absolutely fine. If you want to make it look even better, even realer, absolutely fine. It's entirely down to you and your personal preference. I left the inside dirtier and grimier because it's the inside. So that's that. I shall put them aside and install them to the base once I've done the base, and I'm still not sure when I'm going to do the base upgrade. I might leave it till I get the rest of the underblaze pieces. I may do it before then. I may get bored. So keep an eye on the channel, like and subscribe, and I shall see you soon for more upgrades and modifications, and indeed more actual real building things. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.